Okay, so I am going to let y'all know right now, I am your number one communications expert between the lines. Meaning I read the undercurrents of the room, not what's being literally said, but what's being conveyed. Okay. I love words because one thing can mean something else and something else can mean anything. And without using emphasis with like exclamation points, certain words can convey the total of that sentence. For instance, I'm tired and I'm exhausted basically mean the same thing. However, I'm exhausted tends to sound more full-bodied and longer than just I'm just tired. It's like, instead, it's not just a mental tired, it's like the physical exhaustion as well. Okay, so I love words. Now, where I was going with all that was my expertise is in energy. So reading the dance between people, whether in relationships, whether within business strategy and teams, whether in any sort of dynamic with other human beings, or even systems and the way things work. And most of the time, what someone says is what they mean, but it can be very simplified to one thing. I'm gonna give you an example. And also I was gonna say that I know that this generation, that is Gen Z that's coming up, they are cutting off their parents, or vice versa, parents are cutting off their kids. I don't know why. I haven't read the stories. I just read the taglines. Because unless I literally have no idea, I much prefer to pretend I know what I think and just go off that. So, with that being said though, so don't ever cut any generation off, because it's your duty for generation are like this, okay? You have to interlock. This generation and this generation are very different, okay? And I feel like if you have a family that has multiple generations, do you like my visuals? Okay, remember when I said I'd be rusty? This is me rusty. It's been a minute since I've done a lunchtime with Birdie, but the good news is that my phone has storage now. Okay, so back to the conversation with my mom and how you should always be, don't just cut somebody off because you don't agree with them, or even if they're toxic. Because what is toxic, you know? So I was talking to my coworker the other day. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of ramble. So I had to train the new guy. And we were talking, he's on his third marriage, and he has inherited 3 teenage daughters. And he was telling me that they're just different. And I said, yeah, girls are a different breed to boys, just as boys are a different breed to women. And so it's very hard if you've never had one, taking them on, okay? And girls, I agree. Girls, we are girls. Don't tell me you're not challenging. I know us, and we're challenging. We're a great challenging. But we're challenging. And it depends on how much we want to challenge our guy. It depends on how challenging we are. And if you stop challenging them, then we stop challenging ourselves. I don't think any of that made sense, but I was running with it. Okay, so I'm an expert in underlying tones. Trust me, this always comes back. We know this if you've listened, okay? So, this dance that we do as we communicate, as we are entering each other's spaces, that's what I read, is the interconnectedness, not the actual details that everybody else sees and focus on. It's like literally I go into a room and I automatically go, what will no one else point out? And that's what I want to focus on versus what everybody will see. What is the obvious? And I try not to look at the obvious. I try to look at the non-obvious, because if it comes to the point where the teacher calls on you, you want to give an answer that nobody else will have given. Okay. I have so much to say, y'all. Okay. And then I said, usually what somebody will tell you, it's never what they mean. It's always something else. Okay. And that's when you go, oh, okay. Because the circumstance and the main cause are different, okay? So what they're actually mad about, like wasting their time, which is valid, is different from, okay, I'm gonna give you the example, because that's gonna be the quickest way. So I was on the phone with my mom. She's driving. And you could hear honking, and then I heard sirens in the background. And I almost wanted to be like, Mom, we don't have to talk, call me later. You know, but she's my mom. So I just stayed quiet and was like, okay, I'll just wait. And she said, she goes, drivers right now are crazy. There are so many people out right now. And I just don't want to witness an accident and then me have to stay behind and wait for the cops and give my piece. My story. And I was like, Mom, that's good to know that you wouldn't be like, I'd be worried that I'd see some horrible accident and somebody get hurt. No, it was about her time, okay? And then I thought to myself, in all fairness though, anytime I think I might see an accident, I honestly go, I hope I'm at the forefront so I can just scoot on by so I don't want to have to waste my time having to wait in the traffic that is caused by the accident, or my mom just didn't want to have to be a witness. So there's always more to it than what meets the eye, and that's what my expertise is in reading between the lines, reading the undercurrents, feeling the room, and not just repeating what I've been told, because I don't repeat what I've been told until, if I haven't tried it out yet, I am repeating it. But then I repeat it to try it out. And then once I try it out, I'm now speaking from a place of conviction. Okay, that's it. All right, time for me to go back to my day job.